11 days to the caucuses, and if you never participated in the process, it's different, okay? And Democrats and Republicans go through the process differently. It's kind of fun to learn more about it, and we've got a special person to kind of help us out, learn a little more about it.
So Michael Moraine is the communications manager for the State Historical Society of Iowa. Michael, first of all, you have this wonderful exhibit happening at the State Historical Museum that it teaches people about the history of the caucus. But if somebody wants to participate right now, there are things to know.
Yeah, we're going through a practice run tonight for people who have never done it before or people who are just political junkies who want to come out tonight. There's an event. We have a series at the museum, an after-hours series called History on the Rocks, about every quarter. And it's a fun way to learn about history in sort of an informal setting. We have some beer, we have some refreshments. It's just a good way to come out to the museum in a different way than was different than when you came on your 5th grade field trip. A little different. Yeah. Tonight, the theme is Caucus and Cocktails. So we're going to run through a mock caucus with some Iowa celebrities, Cloris Leachman and Jason Momoa and Simon Estes and some others. Ashton Kutcher is on the slate. But people will get a chance to go through the process and just see how it works if they've never done it before, or if they're old pros, great. And then people can also explore the exhibit, First in the Nation, which unpacks some of the stories of how the Iowa caucuses became such a big deal in the first place. We have artifacts dating back to the caucuses of Abraham Lincoln in the 1850s when the state was still holding caucuses every 2 years, even though it wasn't the Iowa caucuses as we know them now.
Yeah, so Mr. Momoa and Kutcher, they couldn't come tonight to be there in person, scheduling conflicts, but they were this close to being able to commit. What's the biggest surprise people you think take away from the experience, not only just the history, but learning about the process? What are some things that they walk away from that makes you feel good about providing this?
Well, I think for me, one of the takeaways in the exhibit, it's interesting, since the caucuses, the big cycle happens every 4 years, it's a good way to see how technology changes. I think we talk a lot about how social media has just revolutionized the whole system, but we're still making yard signs and buttons, which are pretty low tech, but they are effective. So you can see how some of those things have evolved. We have a 1988 VHS tape from the Pat Robertson campaign.
Yes.
And the idea, if somebody sent out VHS tapes to caucus goers now, we'd sort of laugh them off.
I don't think anybody would know what to do with it.
You know, we have like satellite centers, and it's evolved so differently. That's so cool. Is there a cost to get into this?
It's $5 unless you're among the first 50 to come. C-SPAN, the C-SPAN bus will be there. So C-SPAN is picking up the tab for the first 50 people, and you can walk through the C-SPAN bus. Also, if you have a college ID, it's free. But if you're one of the latecomers, it's $5. So not a big price, but come, and it should be a really, really fun night.